Hi, my name is Peter, and I try to find the best, weirdest, and most obscure movies out there. Welcome to Unknown Flicks. A while back, I was looking at Amazon Prime and trying to find something to watch when I came across one of the weirdest posters. This poster was for a movie called Voyager. It showed these weird alien-looking robot things, and I just kind of got curious of what the movie was about. Even still, I skipped past the movie and I watched something like Velocipaster or Troll 2 instead. A while later, I looked up the movie just because I was curious and I saw the trailer on YouTube. That convinced me to watch it. The story's about these two kids named Bobby and Akun who go to an amusement park only to find out that the place holds a sinister secret. Both of them get trapped at the park and need to do whatever they can to survive. That's all I'm going to say because this movie's best watched without knowing very much. Even still, this movie is not for everyone, and I'm going to talk about that a bit later. As you could probably tell by the clips that I just showed, this movie is pretty unconventional, at least in the way that it's animated. The director, Ujicha, created a new animation style which he calls Gekimation. Gekimation involves hand-painting everything, including backgrounds and characters. These are animated in real time with paper puppetry rather than stop motion, and on top of everything, certain effects such as water and fire are made using real water and real fire. What I mean by that is that whenever a character is on fire, the paper which they're drawn on is actually on fire. So you may be wondering, if this type of animation is so much work, why have it at all instead of animating the movie in a traditional way? I would have thought this too if I hadn't seen the movie. Since I have, I can say without a doubt that the movie wouldn't be as disturbing as it is without this animation. The style is off-putting and kept me from getting invested in the film. Normally I would complain about this in a movie, but making me constantly aware that I was actually watching a movie helped me appreciate the detail even more. The voice acting is also a bit off, but it's likely on purpose. I mean, it has Debbie Derryberry in it, who is the voice of Jimmy Neutron. Even still, the weird voice acting mixed with the off visuals makes an oddly compelling watch. The soundtrack, sound effects, and editing also contribute to the weirdness of the movie. I felt like several times the music was out of place, and some of the edits were poorly timed. Also, the sound effects sometimes feel too cartoony or too realistic. Overall, all of these elements combined create a pretty disturbing watch. If I saw this as a kid, I probably would have had nightmares even before the horror elements happened. There is something that I've been neglecting to talk about during this whole review, which is how much I enjoyed the story. And I have to say that I love the first two acts. I love the fact that this movie takes place in an amusement park. It makes it feel way more original. When I was younger, my favorite Goosebumps episode was the one that takes place in an amusement park. I just love amusement park horror. Voyager is a movie that made me want to know more of what was happening as the movie was going on, and I thought most of it was great. My biggest problem was the third act. It's a movie that gets stranger as it goes, but I feel like the third act jumps the shark. I don't want to spoil it, but the movie's tone changes completely, and the ending is incredibly rushed. What saved it a little for me was the final scene. I enjoy a bittersweet ending, although I feel like a lot of people are going to be upset with it. Other than that, the ending is unsettling in a way that I enjoyed. I mentioned earlier that I enjoyed the poster of the movie. It reminded me of 1950s horror comics, which I really enjoy. And I have to say that this whole movie kind of reminded me of 1950s sci-fi horror. It wears its influences on its sleeve. I even think Frankenstein's monster makes a cameo in this movie. The movie is also likely inspired by the manga artist Kazuo Umezu. Umezu has a way of putting kids into dangerous and disturbing situations unlike many other horror writers. I am a huge fan of his book Drifting Classroom, which is like a more horrific version of The Lord of the Flies. I highly recommend it. Anyway, this movie takes the same violence and realism of Umezu's work and makes it equally horrific. A final inspiration that I noticed was from the Japanese Ero-guro artistic movement. Ero-guro is the combination of the words erotic and grotesque, and the movement is exactly that. This is where my warning comes in for all of those who want to see it. As I said, the movie has kids in danger. It has kids dying. It has a bit of Ero-guro, and the horror elements can be disturbing at times. If you are someone who can't handle that, and everything I've talked about up to this point in the video,
What's it?
I am giving this movie a personal rating of 7 out of 10. This may seem low as I gave this movie a lot of praise, but I think there is a difference between uniqueness and quality. I would have rated it higher if the third act wasn't the way it was, but it is sticking at a 7. If you have an unknown movie that you'd like me to review, leave it in the comment section below. I'll be reading all of them. Also, next week's movie will be Santa Sangre. So, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, whatever. Stay safe.